Hey traders and investors looking at the cannabis space here. So I'm well aware that when I make these videos, I'm talking to two very different kinds of people. There are people that are like me that are actively trading. They're in and out multiple times a day potentially. They're looking to maneuver and take advantage of these 10 to 20% swings that we see in both directions. And then we've got those that are more passive. They're more interested in the longer term and they don't really care about, 5-minute time frames. So when I try and make content, I'm definitely trying to give a little bit to everybody, but I'm not going to go in depth into the in-depth technicals because that's what we do in our chat room and on the live streams and things like that. So essentially, the more advanced stuff, the more advanced short-term time frame stuff, I'll give an example in this video, but we'll save that for somewhere else. So essentially, for the sector right now, we are looking at where we stand right now. And again, it's constantly changing. We have to be watching the headlines. But essentially, we're not quite sure when the NDAA is going to be voted on. We're not quite sure exactly what's in the NDAA. We're getting reports that there's still some conflict. We're getting reports that that conflict about what's within it is not related to cannabis banking. It's more related to vaccines and other, I shouldn't say these words. YouTube's going to drive me into the ground with these algos. Anyways, it's all rumors, right? We're looking for little bits of information. The market is looking for probabilities. The market cares how probable is it that SAFE is in NDAA, how probable is it that it's going to pass. And that continues to shift. Over the weekend, euphoria. It's happening. We're 90% sure. Then today, well, it's not coming at 3 o'clock and we're not quite sure and there's still some discussion. And as soon as the market hears there's still some disagreements about what's going to be in it, the market anticipates, they're not sure about safe banking, and so they sell off. In the end, all we have are little tidbits of information. It's people on Twitter. Some have more knowledgeable information than others. Some have better sources than others. But we have to constantly be watching in the short term. Again, bigger picture, I'm very bullish this sector. I'm bullish heading into 2024 general election. I feel Biden learned his lesson into the midterms that if he does something notable with cannabis, he's going to be rewarded. The Democrats will be rewarded by it. I'm bullish about Florida legalization. They have a huge population. They have a huge tourist population. There's a lot of catalysts for this sector. We're only going in one direction, right? We've been going in this direction for 12 years that I've been trading this sector, and it's just very, very slowly. So there's a ton of time for massive swings in the meantime of actual progress. But we know rescheduling or descheduling is on the table. Maybe that's the card that the Democrats play into 2024. So I don't want, I'm going to talk about being bearish and things like that, but just know that I'm talking short term because big picture, I'm bullish the sector. So investing, absolutely. But I'm not an investor because I look to capitalize on the volatility in between. So these candles on the daily time frames are bearish reversal candles. They show us a significant amount of profit taking after a significant bull run. They show us that we may be shaping up for daily consolidation. The further this gets kicked down the road, and again, the more everybody in this sector hears the word soon, or not yet, or maybe next week, that's bearish, just in the sense that the run-up that we've seen is in anticipation of this going through potentially this week. So we are going to anticipate that if daily consolidation takes shape, daily higher lows are the most likely scenario. We've got a lot of space for them. CGC, just as an example, if we break 420, the low of today, daily consolidation is underway. We then scout a daily high or low, anything above 334. There's a lot of space for it to form. We will use the hourly trends as our guide. We'll be watching for hourly oversold conditions for dip buying, just like bulls today looked for 5-minute oversold conditions for dip buying at the end of the day. This sell-off at the end of the day is the market realizing we're not going to get the information confirming safe in NDAA at 3 p.m. that bulls were hoping for. And so that's profit taking. And that's definitely a little bit of a red flag for the bulls in the short term. That's why we have a big upper wick, seeing that profit taking. And what we have now is a lot of space for an hourly lower high. Meaning, and next time we bounce, we got resistance at 460 and 477. What the bears want to see is an inability to break those levels next bounce and then break 1420 to confirm an hourly downtrend and confirm daily consolidation is underway. I know for me personally, I'm not comfortable entering any swing positions until daily consolidation. That's when the risk and reward is beneficial to be looking for bullish entries. And I'll be watching daily EMA 12 support hourly oversold conditions, etc. That's when we get into the details and the nitty gritty of technical analysis and trading to try and pinpoint those entries. TLRY is the same thing. And again, I was trading in both directions today and doing a bit of shorting as well. And the shorts that bears could take were little just short-term inability to break resistance. So just a quick example, again, not going into in-depth details, look at this resistance at 505. So we hit the high of the day, we pull back, okay, high or low, no red flag. We fail at 505, we roll over. We fail at 505. So a bear can take a short at 502, 503, 504 and place a stop over 505 and have a low risk, high reward scenario. And so these are the kind of opportunities that I take as a day trader. I look at those shorts, I look at the bounce long plays, and those are the things that I'm interested in. But TLRY is the same thing. We've got a lot of space. We can bounce 15% tomorrow and look for an hourly lower high. So unless news comes out tomorrow that, yes, safe is in and we're going to get the vote, I'm anticipating that any bounce on TLRY is going to form an hourly lower high compared to 512. I'm going to be scouting for an hourly short on TLRY, and I'll be using the 5-minute uptrend as my guide to scout that short. But the reason I'm scouting that short is because of the amount of space we have. We just bottomed at 450. We can bounce over 10% and still just be looking for a lower high there. And again, a bear wants to see a confirmed hourly downtrend into daily consolidation, where we will then zoom out and scout a daily high or low. Another factor here is volume climaxes. Volume climaxes often signal tops and bottoms because they show us a fervor of activity of the most amount of shares. So today on the run up, you've got a huge amount of bull shares and shorts being squeezed. And then you've got a huge amount of bears jumping in saying we're way extended. And that confluence of shares leads to a huge amount of shares traded. If you are overextended to the downside and you see very high volume, you scout a bounce. If you're overextended to the upside and you see very high volume, you scout a pullback. And so an example of that, this is the daily chart. We'll see tomorrow whether it confirms or not into daily consolidation. But here it is on the 1-minute time frame for MSOS. I'm wrong all the time. I'm going to highlight a time when I'm right here. But again, as a day trader, I have made thousands of decisions over the last few years. I am wrong hundreds of times. I am right hundreds of times. So I'll definitely highlight some time when I'm wrong here in the near term. But I guess I was wrong because I took some profit on Friday afternoon. So Friday afternoon, I took some TLRY and some MSOS swing position profit off the table. Had I held them, I would have made more money. But that was just me being a little bit conservative. Anyways, so MSOS at 941. Bulls are looking to take some profit on short-term positions. So that was 1 minute before the high of the day. How did I know to be looking to take profit there? A number of things. Number one, volume climax. Highest 1-minute volume of the day happened at the high of the day candle. Number two, my emotions. I am trained as a day trader to literally do the opposite of what my emotions tell me. A newer trader is looking at today and saying, oh my God, we're up 10%. It's only been 10 minutes in the trading day. It's going to be a huge day. The experienced trader says, wow, we're up 10% and we're only 10 minutes into the trading day. I should take some profit because this can't keep up. We're going to see consolidation. We're going to see some profit taking. And that's the difference between experienced and new trader. And the same thing with the dumps. When there's dumps and maximum fear, newer traders will sell at the bottom, whereas more experienced traders will be looking to buy that maximum fear and that capitulation. So that ends up being the high of the day. We then tighten up sideways. Consolidation looked real good for the bulls. There were no red flags today. And then it's the end of the day. Again, that heading into 3 p.m., everything changed. And here's your lack of liquidity, which benefited the bulls on the way up the last few days, but can also lead to a 7% drop in 20 minutes. Nice 5-minute oversold bounce, and we ended the day with a 15-minute tightening range. So where do we stand on MSOS? It's a bearish reversal candle. We have to confirm it, but the volume plus the candle upper wick tells us daily consolidation will not be surprising from here. So on MSOS, we've got resistance at 1431 and 1460. On any bounce, if we cannot break those levels, it's just an hourly lower high. If the bears break the low of today, tomorrow, and again, the bulls did a great job today. Considering the broader market, and watch my broader market video, there was a ton of weakness in the broader market. So why this sector was able to completely disregard the broader market is because of the amount of dollar volume that's coming in, breaking all correlations. If there's no volume, the automated trading system, the bots and the algos, they make up a more significant amount of the volume and they have a bigger impact. But when a ton of volume is coming in, they just get blown away as being insignificant. So if MSOS breaks 1317, daily consolidation is underway. We're going to watch for hourly oversold conditions. We're going to watch for a daily higher low. But it's only if the lows of today break tomorrow. Bulls obviously want to hold the lows of today to prevent daily consolidation from taking place. And that's a possibility as well. And again, just very sensitive to the headlines right now. And think about it. If you're a trader, if we get word that SAFE is not in NDAA, it's an aggressive short. Again, I'm bullish 2024, but I know what the psychology of the market is on this move up, and I know that we will sell off hard if SAFE is not in NDAA. We'll look for a weekly higher low. It won't be game over in terms of fresh lows are coming, maybe eventually, but that's the mindset that I'm in. I will be looking very aggressively as a bear if I can act very quickly, because if it were to come out that were to happen, again, it's the less likely scenario right now, but you got to have a game plan for both scenarios, and it's going to look like this. So you got to catch it in the first few minutes. Individual names, GTBIF, again, same deal as everybody else. Pulled back very notably. If we fail 1650 and break the low of today, it's a confirmed hourly downtrend into daily consolidation where we will scout a daily higher low, anything above 1250. TCNNF, upper wick, you get the idea. There's our hourly lower high, double top at the high of the day. You could technically say we just confirmed an hourly downtrend into the end of the day, but we got to break the low of today for daily consolidation to be underway. Curaleaf, looking a bit stronger. The dip buying at the end of the day was a little bit better. So I would say out of the four major names, the Curaleaf has less of an upper wick and less of a clear profit-taking candle. CRLBF, big upper wick, 445 resistance still in play. And CMPS, red flag. We broke this tightening range bullish, but we double topped at 1146 resistance, and we're right back within our tightening range. But here, we're going to be looking for a daily higher low. This is a psychedelic name. Anything above 935. I didn't look at GRWG today. I assume it's doing the same thing. Bearish reversal, gravestone doji. If you want to look up what kind of candle that is. If we break 783, daily consolidation underway, and we scout for potential hourly oversold conditions if the drop follows through. Same thing with GRWG. The bell can ring tomorrow and we can go up 5% and still look for the potential of an hourly lower high. So I'm not positive which direction I'm looking tomorrow. I'm very cautious as a bear because I know, if a headline drops, I have to have a stop loss in place or I'm going to get blown out. But one day at a time. Some of you don't care about one day at a time. You care about 1 month at a time, and that's perfectly fine. But everybody's got different time frames. And when you're discussing these things with people on Twitter or whatever, do your best to distinguish the time frame that you're interested in, because that's where the most discrepancy and miscommunication takes place. People talking about, well, how much are we going to go up after SAFE gets voted positively on NDAA? And for me personally, I'm not looking for a ton of upside if that's the case. So here's how Sell the News works. And again, look up Google TheChartGuys, what does priced in mean, for a very in-depth video about the psychology of how markets work like this. If I want the price of these stocks to go up after SAFE and NDAA get approved, if they do, I want to pull back tomorrow. I want a red day. Why? That shows me bulls taking profit. That shows me bears jumping into positions. And then, if that happens, and then the news comes out, yep, we're good to go, bulls are going to jump right back in and say, oh man, and they're going to FOMO, and the shorts are going to have to cover. If we run straight up into SAFE and NDAA, there's going to be nobody left to buy. And again, I'm talking short term. I'm talking in the next 48 hours. I would expect to sell the news event. So a move like today flushes things out a little bit. and does have more cash on the sideline now that will be looking to jump back in. And bears entered positions today without a doubt. So this opens the door for potential follow through if we get it safe on NDAA. So that's where we stand, one day at a time. Lows of today, key support levels. If they break, we scout daily higher lows to be the result of that pullback. Watching the headlines very closely. How long are they going to dangle this carrot? We'll see.